Issue 80. The issue opens back up to Dick in his apartment with puppy regret. The police knock on Dick's door and question him over the unnamed man who was found dead. He calls on Barbara for support and later calls on his brother Tim Drake to investigate the tent city. A pause for Joshy's Tim Drake excitement. Tim goes undercover to the tent city to find the deceased's father's son as Nightwing watches from afar. Villains Brutal and the Electrocutioner arrive at the scene and a fight breaks out. So, general thoughts to share. Jade's thoughts? Hello, favorite issue in this volume. I'm really enjoying these character interactions, and juxtaposing a relatively benign conversation with gymnastics across the city at sunset was just such a fun way to deal with the dialogue. Also, I'm worried that Tim must surely endure rope burn or risk plummeting to his death, although I saw him using a gun-like device in at least one panel. Dolphin's thoughts. Oh no, here goes Dolphin repeating himself. But how good is the dialogue between Nightwing and Robin? Dolphin just loves this representation of the Bat fam. Joshy's issue 80 slide. There are some interesting throwbacks to older pre-rebirth continuities in Nightwing 2016 issue 80. Grayson being a lawyer is a reference to the pre-1985 alternate dimension versions of Dick Grayson on Earth 2, who upon growing up was a lawyer at Cranston, Grayson & Wayne, a consumer research firm, joined by Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle's daughter, Helena Wayne, aka the Huntress. This version of Dick was killed in 1985's universe rebooting Crisis of Infinite Earths event, so it's an interesting aspect for Tom Taylor to make a callback reference to, especially considering I don't believe it's ever a major part of Taylor's run besides this throwaway line. The Earth 2 version of Huntress, Helena Wayne, was a loose inspiration for the central character in the early 2000s Birds of Prey TV show. They also make reference to Grayson having been a cop, which is drawing upon 1999's Nightwing issue 31, when Dick Grayson decided to become a police officer. After years of working outside the system, he wanted to try his hand at being a legitimate agent of the law. This lasted roughly 50 issues before in 2003's Nightwing issue 83, Dick was forced to resign when one of his supervisors learned about his double life as Nightwing. It turned out it's a huge conflict of interest to be a lawless vigilante and a police officer at the same time. His supervisor didn't have an issue with Dick also being a circus owner simultaneously though. I also love the Adam West Batman 66 homage on one of the mugs with the famous scene from the sequel movie where Batman can't dispose of a bomb because of a raft of ducks, a bizarre number of marching band members, and a baby in a pram. Gotham Rogues is an homage to 2012's The Dark Knight Rises gridiron rugby team, whose match is attacked by Bane during the movie. My brother, Tim Drake, thought of by many as the best Robin. I, Joshy, am one of those many. Tim Drake and Dick Grayson riding atop the Bloodhaven train together is a direct homage to my all-time favourite Nightwing issue and my all-time favourite Tim Drake issue, Nightwing Volume 2, Issue 25, an entire issue where Dick and Tim ride atop the Bloodhaven train, blindfolded as a training exercise for Tim, while catching up like brothers. Probably my favourite homage in this whole run, and a sign of impeccable taste by Taylor. Because of how well Taylor captures Tim's voice and the issue it homages, this is my favourite issue in Volume 1. The Robin series that the editor box refers to Brutal showing up in after this issue is the 2021 Damian Wayne Robin series. As a reminder, Dick was the first Robin, Tim the third Robin, and Damian the fifth Robin. Both Brutal and the Lester Buczynski Electrocutioner are Chuck Dixon creations who have recurringly been Nightwing villains as well as Tim Drake Robin villains. Next slide, Tim Drake. In November this year, we covered in Comic Book Club a Tim Drake Robin comic featuring Tim Drake, led by senior host Jishy, and we'll go further into the details of who Tim Drake is. Coastal, will personally leave that up to Joshy to go into further details. But for people who don't know, Tim Drake is the third Robin of the Bat family and was created by writer Marv Wolfman and artist Pat Broderick. Again, Coastal, won't go into much detail, but I have added some appearances of Tim in other media, like the Titan series portrayed by actor Jay Licurgo and WB Montreal's game Gotham Knights voiced by Sloan Morgan Siegel. Tim Drake is also a fantastic representation for the LGBTQIA+ community, specifically representing the Bee, who is currently in a relationship with Bernard Dowd.